Bobble always seems to be pushed as one of the NES's true great puzzle games, usually only outshined by Tetris and Dr. Mario. Bobble is a platform puzzle game played in a linear arcade style. You are a dragon who blows bubbles that can catch adversaries, and one who can also kill them by simply running into them while they're encased. And you have to kill all the enemies before an invincible ghost comes to kill you. In spite of how that sounds, it's actually a pretty simple premise. The controls in this game are a little weird. You basically have little horizontal momentum and little control of yourself while you're in the air. It's not like Castlevania or anything, but it does take a while to get used to, and it creates a handicap for your character that the game never really considers in much of its level design. Before I start on the negatives, I'll say that this game is very time-passing. Never really hits a boring point, and always remains interesting. Thanks to a relatively random nature of some of the power-ups, and the constantly changing level design, the game always seems fresh whenever you play it. Another part of this game that works wonderfully is the extra rewards for defeating enemies simultaneously, since bubbles pop other bubbles. This works great because you get extra points, which can give you lives, and letters, which eventually give you the means to gain lives and skip a level. The mechanics of this game are very unique, and the platforming style adds a nice twist to the puzzle mechanics. Here's the thing though, this game never really hits a stride, or has challenges that are consistently satisfying or fun. It really does just feel time passing. There are a lot of satisfying moments thanks to a style that is open to a lot of personal challenges and gameplay elements that feel rewarding when you pull off a great strategy. I think I know why this doesn't work all the time though. There are no consequences at all for losing. You lose, your score resets, and you get the password for the level, which was mostly pointless for me since I'm playing this on Virtual Console. Again though, while this may weaken the satisfaction since it makes beating a level kind of easy, it really does help the game progress very smoothly, until it hits my next problem with this game. First of all, I'd like to point out that this is an arcade port, so you'll know why I use a certain term later on. There are a ton of annoying levels, and many enemies who can be very cheap in this game. Admittedly, bubble jumping is a neat idea, but they get really obnoxious in some of the areas you're meant to cross with this method. And because you can't control yourself too strongly in the air, you'll often be completely open to enemy attacks while you're trying to simply go up a wall or something. There's also a lot of times in which you'll get hit with a cheap enemy by simple circumstance. And while I can't really blame this on the developers, it is annoying as hell. Easily my biggest issue though is that among the 100 levels here, there are too many quarter sucker levels. Quarter sucker levels have cheap and unfair level design originally done in the arcade to suck quarters out of the consumer, now resulting in many frustrating brick wall moments. These can feel incredibly frustrating because dying enough times causes you to game over, which as I said isn't a big handicap, but many of these levels take an excruciating amount of time to beat. It was actually during these long, repetitive gameplay sections that I realized something. I never got tired of the music. There's only about 4 songs that play during gameplay, but 90% of the time there's one specific song that plays. And although its charm wore off kind of quickly, I never actually reached the point that I got sick of it. I feel that was worth mentioning because I remember playing the cheap and annoying sections of Mega Man 2 and strongly disliking even the best songs because I just heard them over and over again. The graphics also look good and have their own charm thanks to this game's style, but the graphics actually start to harm the gameplay sometimes because the way the levels look. Where you can fall through and where you can walk through aren't always distinguishable in many of the maps, which might be fine occasionally, maybe for some secrets or something, but these start to become more and more commonplace as you progress through the game, and only add to the frustration of certain levels. And that's really all there is to this game. As I said, it's pretty simple, which I guess could be added to the appeal of it. Personally, I'll give Bobble a 7.5. It's very time-passing with some satisfying moments, but there are too many brick walls as the game progresses. Now, here's the thing. I'm not too big of a fan of time-passing games, but I think they do have the purpose on handhelds. As I said, this game passes time well, which makes it perfect for when you're riding on the bus or waiting at the dentist or something. So I wouldn't recommend buying this on the Wii Virtual Console or even the NES, because this isn't the sort of game you would actively seek out to have fun. No, it fits more as a game you play to kill time, and as far as I know, NES games are available, or soon to be available, for the 3DS. I also think it's worth mentioning that this game has pretty broad appeal, since I think that both platformer fans and puzzle game fans can get into it for their own reasons. I don't have a 3DS yet, and either way I already have this game, but played at leisure and bored periods, I can definitely raise this game up several points for this circumstance. For general audiences, Bobble gets an 8.5 for being a great time passer with a good sense of flow. If you have a 3DS and you see this game on the Virtual Console there, take the time to check it out.
Dragon!